Assalamu alaikum. Let's begin our lesson with a story. While you're listening to the story, focus on the characters, the plot, the setting, and the end. So you ready? Let's begin. It was a quiet Sunday morning. My daughter was busy preparing for her grade 5 exams. I was sipping tea and my mother was knitting something. The aroma of parathas and eggs filled the air, and my wife was busy setting up the breakfast table. Bang! A loud sound shattered the peace and calm. Fearing the worst, I rushed to the room where I had left my 5-year-old son sleeping. Baba! Baba! My son shrieked excitedly as he saw me at the door. But my eyes were fixed at the huge chameleon my son was holding fondly. It took me a few minutes to process the information. Shards of glass were strewn on the floor and there was water everywhere. The chameleon must have fallen on the jug of water, toppling it over. That I was sure had made that loud sound. I sent a silent prayer that all was well as I picked up my son. Holding their breath were my wife, mother, and my daughter at the far end of the passage to the room. The chameleon still gripped tightly in his hand. My son was completely unaware of the scare he had given us. All right, what did you think about the story? Did you enjoy it? Great, because I enjoyed it too. Were you able to identify the different elements of the story? All right, so the characters were the father, the son, the daughter, the wife, and the mother. Who would you say were the main characters in the story? यानी स्टोरी का प्लॉट किन कैरेक्टर्स के गिर्द घूम रहा था? शाबाश, बिल्कुल सही. The father and the son. आपके ख्याल में ये दोनों मेन कैरेक्टर्स क्यों हैं? जी बिल्कुल. The story is about these two characters. What can you tell me about the setting, the plot, the conflict, and the ending? Great! Yes! Setting तो घर है और दिन इतवार है. वक्त सुबह का है. शाबाश. अच्छा तो बताएं कि इस स्टोरी का प्लॉट क्या है, यानी कहानी में क्या हो रहा है? जी बिल्कुल, नाश्ते का इंतजार हो रहा है. बहुत खूब. क्या कुछ और भी हो रहा था? जी हाँ, हम तो भूल ही गए कि एक 5 साल का बच्चा कमरे में सो रहा था. तो अब सवाल ये उठता है कि स्टोरी में कॉन्फ्लिक्ट या प्रॉब्लम कब आया? वाह वाह, बिल्कुल. The word bang is the turning point in the story. स्टोरीज में कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होता क्या है? बिल्कुल, ये वो पॉइंट है जहां कोई उलझन पैदा हो जाती है. तो फिर क्या इस उलझन या प्रॉब्लम का कोई हल होता है या नहीं? तो क्या बैंग से जो प्रॉब्लम हुआ, क्या वो सॉल्व हुआ? शाबाश जी! The problem was the chameleon which the boy was holding. So, how did this story end? Yes, it ends with the father rescuing the boy from the shards of glass and his son finding a new pet. Now, let's see the information in the table. Do you agree with the description for each element? आपको लगता है कि बैंग प्लॉट का हिस्सा है? अच्छा, देखते हैं. Now, think and tell me where was the turning point in the story? What made the story turn into a totally different direction? Yes, the word bang. That is where the problem started. This was the turning point in the story. Carefully read the questions on the table. You may note down the elements in your notebooks. Good. Now let's listen to a story. चले, अब हम आमना की कहानी सुनते हैं. Amna was a 10-year-old girl who lived in a small village. She was hardworking and studious. She was always ahead of her classmates. But her parents and teachers admired her for being kind-hearted and helpful. At home, Amna always helped her mother with the chores and looked after her younger siblings when her mother was busy with housework. In school, Amna was favorite with her teachers as she extended help wherever needed. She even stayed after school to help a classmate with homework. Amna's school was surrounded by beautiful trees and was situated in a lush green valley. Every day, after helping her mother with breakfast, Amna would leave for school much earlier than the rest of the school children in her village. Amna loved the walk that led to her school as she enjoyed picking berries and feeding them to the monkeys and squirrels she saw on her way. Some days, Amna would bring leftovers from her house for the animals in the forest. Her friends thought Amna should not take the route as they considered the woods dangerous. But Amna was a brave girl and had never been afraid of the animals or the woods. One day, as she was going to her school, Amna heard a strange sound. She pricked up her ears and started to move in the direction of the sound. The weather had changed. Winters had almost ended, but it was still a little dark at that time of the day, which made it hard for her to see clearly. The sounds were now more obvious. Finally, she was able to see where the noise was coming from. It was a monkey making those sounds. But when she looked closely, she could see that the monkey was jumping and screaming. What could be the matter? Amna wondered as she stepped closer. The dry leaves under her feet crunched, alerting the monkey to her presence. The monkey now started to chatter and snarled at Amna. But Amna had seen the reason the monkey was upset. A baby monkey was caught under a tree trunk. Without being afraid of the monkey's angry growl, Amna quickly rushed and pulled the baby monkey out from under the weight of the trunk. As soon as the baby monkey got free, it jumped to its mother. They both disappeared in the woods, and Amna, feeling like a brave warrior, headed towards her school. Wasn't Amna a brave little girl? Did you enjoy listening to Amna's story? मुझे भी इस कहानी को सुनने का लुत्फ आया. Let's take a look at the questions once again. Keeping in mind Amna's story, can you write a description for each element? What do you think is the title of the story? Where is the story set? What time of year and day have been mentioned? Who is the main character in the story? What is the plot of the story? How does the story develop? What is the sequence of events? What is the conflict or problem in the story? How is the conflict or the problem resolved? What is the resolution? How does the story end? Compare your answers with the ones in the table. How close are your answers? Amna the rescuer. The story takes place in a forest. The time of the year is late winters and the time of the day is early morning. Amna, a 10-year-old girl. Amna is a hard-working, kind girl who likes to help her mother, teachers, and class fellows. She walks to school every day. To reach school, she has to pass through the forest. She picks berries to feed monkeys and squirrels in the forest. One day, she finds a baby monkey trapped under a tree trunk. The mother monkey is upset to see her baby in pain. The mother monkey growls at Amna as she thinks Amna might hurt the baby. Amna ignores the angry mother monkey and rushes to rescue the baby monkey. Both the monkeys disappear as soon as the baby is freed. बहुत खूब! आपने स्टोरी के एलिमेंट्स को अच्छे अंदाज से समझ लिया है. आज आपने स्टोरी एलिमेंट्स की प्रैक्टिस की है. अब आप तस्वीर की मदद से एक कहानी तरतीब दीजिए. Can you create your own story using the story elements, character, setting, conflict, and resolution. Using the guided structure, create your own story. You can read your story to your friends and compare your story with theirs. उम्मीद है आज का सबक आपको दिलचस्प लगा होगा और अब आप मज़ीद कहानियाँ पढ़कर उनके मुख्तलिफ अज्जा से शनासाई हासिल कर सकेंगे। शुक्रिया।